everyone, Jennifer here, back with another edition of TV Talk. Now, before we get started, I'd like to say one thing, and that's if I sound a little congested, it's because I am. I have been fighting a cold for the past few days, and I do apologize for that. Okay, so it is Monday, and that means it's Gargoyles Day. And this week's episode was Pendragon. Having gone on his own quest after the battle for Avalon, Arthur finds himself meeting up with several old friends. Okay, things I liked about this episode. First off, I like the fact that while it is a story that takes place with a character we encountered on Avalon, it is not Goliath or Elisa or Angela or Bronx who are the main focal point of this episode. In fact, they're not even in this episode. It focuses on King Arthur, if those of you couldn't guess from the title of the episode, who we haven't seen since Avalon Part 3. So, the fact that we're focusing in on a character we haven't seen in quite a few episodes is great. I love how they went back to this character that we didn't think we were ever going to see again, and they did an episode surrounding him. Second off, we meet up with an old friend we haven't seen in a few episodes, and that is Griff. At the beginning of the episode, Arthur arrives in London, and of course, who's he going to run into in London? Of course, it's going to be Griff. It's either going to be Griff, Una, or Leo, and of course, it's going to be Griff, since he is the younger of the three. And what they're looking for is Arthur comes to England. Well, he's sent to England by Avalon because Avalon sends you where you need to be, of course, and apparently he needed to be in England, and he believes he's there to find his sword, Excalibur. And this episode's all about him searching for his sword, Excalibur. So, Snickers, no. So he meets up with Griff, and of course the stone that he pulls, he pulled Excalibur from when he first became king. And of course it's a magic stone, so it talks, of course. And it tells him that, the Lady of the Lake has the sword. She's moved. She's no longer in England. And he has to, and the stone gives him a riddle to figure out, where it is, or it speaks in riddles or something. And, well, Griff recites a riddle he learned when he was a hatchling about Excalibur, and upon when Arthur repeats one of the verses, it's apparently the right verse, and it sends him and Griff to Manhattan, where who are they going to run into? Of course, Hudson, Broadway, Brooklyn, and Lexington. And of course, since they're friends of Goliath and Elisa, and Arthur and Griffin are friends of Goliath, or Arthur and Griff are friends of Goliath and Elisa, of course, the rest of Goliath's clan offers to help search for this, for Excalibur. They run into Macbeth, and Macbeth, who was a king at one point, thinks, he's more worthy to wield Excalibur than Arthur, so it is a race to try and find where the Lady of the Lake is, and where Excalibur is. And I'm not going to give away who actually finds it. I'm just going to let you guys watch the episode to find out. So I liked it. It had a lot of interesting components. We were not, it was a World Traveler episode, but it did not focus on Goliath and Elisa and Angela. It focused more on our other World Traveler, who I don't think we're going to see after this at all. We revisit with Griff. I keep wanting to call him Griffin. I don't know why. Probably because he is a Griffin. So we revisit Griff. We see him again. We go to Manhattan. We see the clan again. And we go back. We also get to see Macbeth again. We haven't seen Macbeth since if we haven't yet covered Sanctuary, we haven't seen him since Avalon Part 3. Possibly Sanctuary if we've seen that already. With the gap in with me having to put TV Talk on hold, I can't remember what episodes we've done so far. So, we see Macbeth again. Macbeth is one of my favorite characters. So, there was a lot going on here. And then we had, Arthurian lore was more tied into this episode than anything else, because it was more tied in with all the stories about King Arthur and everything, which to me was great. I loved that. I absolutely loved the fact that they were rather than focus on Avalon lore or Scottish lore or anything, it was Arthurian lore, which makes sense because the episode was called Pendragon, and it was about Arthur finding his sword. So there was a lot of stuff I liked about this. Okay, things I didn't like about this episode. There really wasn't anything I didn't like about this episode. I thought it was very well written, very well done. I loved the fact that it focused on characters we haven't seen in a while. And I love the fact that it focused on a type of lore that we really haven't covered much in here. I mean, we touched on it a little bit, but we really touched on it a lot in this episode. So I absolutely, positively loved that. I thought it was amazing. And really nothing worth nitpicking over. Even Macbeth thought, oh well, Arthur doesn't deserve Excalibur. I do, because he was a king as well. You got to keep in mind, Macbeth was the king of Scotland at one point, and Excalibur is supposed to belong to the one true king. And because Arthur had lost it, one would argue, oh well, it's Arthur's because it's always been Arthur's. Excalibur always belonged to Arthur. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that when he comes back that Excalibur is going to belong to him. He's got to prove himself. That he has to prove that he is still worthy of wielding Excalibur, which is what the focus of this episode was. He had to prove himself. He had to prove he was worthy of wielding Excalibur, drawing it from the stone now as he was when he was a boy and he first drew it. Or whatever age he was when he first drew it. And some he was a young boy and some he was a young man. It varies. So really nothing worth nitpicking over. Okay, feel free to check out my other videos. Okay, before I sign off, a few things I'd like to touch on. First off, a quick reminder on my comment rules. Okay, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. I do love to read them. Also, please feel free to follow me on Wattpad, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. I do have my name for those 4 sites right there on the screen, as well as, excuse me, the pictures I use for the icons. Please note that all pictures seen within this video do belong to their respected artists. I own absolutely nothing, and the links for any sites mentioned will be in the description section. Okay, YouTube subscribers. Any of my videos that are not on YouTube are on my Facebook page. Facebook friends. Basically the same deal. Any of my videos that are not on Facebook are on my YouTube channel. And to anyone who's interested, you can feel free to check out my Facebook group, Fanfic Corner. Okay, voting for the new Sunday TV Talk series closed yesterday. I'll be taking this week to shift through all of the votes and determine which show is the winner. And that will be posted next week. So tune in on Sunday and all of next week to find out which show will be the next Sunday TV Talk video. Please like and share if you're watching on Facebook, or like and subscribe if you haven't already if you're watching on YouTube. And as always, thank you for watching, and have a very nice day.